You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 179, when you want to be there already. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. How are you doing? I'm so excited to be here with you today. We are talking about kind of two concepts that are tied together. We're talking about the 50-50 concept, and we're talking about when we just want to be there already, whether that's I want to be married already, I want to have a family already, I want to have babies already, I just want to be there. Maybe that's in your career. I just want to have the home that I want. I just want to have this career that I want so bad. And the 50-50 concept was crafted by my coach, Brooke Castillo, at the Life Coach School. I learned it through Life Coach certification, but it's really all about how life is always 50-50, meaning 50% positive, 50% negative. So no matter what's going on, we're experiencing 50% negative emotion and 50% positive emotion. We're never going to get to a place where everything is just rainbows and daisies all of the time. There will always be a contrast. So when we talk about breakups, I think a lot of times we think, if only I had my ex back, I'd feel better. If only I hadn't acted this way, I'd feel better about the breakup. I also get a lot of people who say, if only my ex was nice, this would be easier. Or if only my ex was an asshole, this would be easier. And we always think that if our circumstances in life were different, we'd get to feel different or we'd get to feel better. We wouldn't be feeling or experiencing a negative emotion. And that's simply not true. I had a previous client who recently texted me, and she was like, Dorothy, podcast episode idea, because this is what I'm experiencing. She mentioned that she was moving out of her place, the place that we did so much coaching in a couple years ago. And it was kind of like her single lady apartment. And she was having a lot of feelings of sadness. And it was really interesting because she was feeling sad even though she was moving out, because she's engaged and happy and about to move into this new place with her fiance. Like, she has all the things that she wanted so desperately when we were coaching together, and she's still experiencing sadness. She was still feeling that 50% negative emotion, and it was just so eye-opening to see, right? In that same week, I had a client who had been really wanting her ex to come back, like so badly. She just wanted her ex to come back, want her back. And I know that so many of you who are listening might relate to this. And the ironic part was that he did come back. And when he did, she actually didn't feel any better. It didn't take away the past. Like, him coming back didn't take away the past. It didn't take what he did away. It didn't take away the problems that were there before they broke up. And it really got me thinking. In a relationship, we have unhappiness. Like, when you're in a relationship, it isn't all rainbows and daisies, not forever. In a relationship, we have unhappiness. When we're no longer in that relationship, we have unhappiness. And then even if we get back together with the ex, there's still unhappiness. And if we find the love of our life or our next partner and it's not our ex, there's unhappiness. Isn't that just wild to wrap your head around? There's unhappiness in all of the scenarios. And it got me thinking that whatever you are wishing for right now in this moment, what if you didn't feel better after having it? Would you be so tied to it? Would you be so tethered to having it and being there already? And I remember being taught this kind of lesson about time and money. I remember hearing it from all the famous coaches and all the people that I was surrounding myself with. They kept saying, it won't be better once you're making all the money. It won't be better when you have coaching as your full-time job. And I was just like, yeah. I was just like nod and agree, but really in the back of my head, I'm like, once I have all the money and once I get to just do coaching full time, my life's going to be totally different and absolutely stunning and amazing. And I remember I thought once I was in a full-time coaching position, I'd have so much time back and life would be easier. I'd feel so relaxed and spacious because I wasn't working 3 jobs. And you know what? It didn't go that way. To my surprise, I actually worked more when I transitioned into coaching full time than when I was working the 3 jobs. It was absolutely bonkers. Then I really thought my coaches were totally full of it when they talked about money. I've done so much money work. And I remember them saying like I wouldn't feel super calm and secure even if I had money if I didn't do the thought work on it. And I was like, y'all don't know me. If I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck, I wouldn't have to worry about money ever again. And the funny thing was the more money I made, the more worried I actually got. I worried about if I was spending it correctly. I worried about making sure I was paying taxes correctly. I worried about saving or having it or actually just keeping the money that I was making. And it wasn't until I changed my thoughts and my thought patterns about time and money that I felt differently about them. And the fascinating part was it was like a 50-50 split between I was doing thought work and stuff on time and money, and I would see results change, and then I would notice I would still feel 50-50. And it was just such a weird experience of then having to even continue further going deeper into thought work, even once I was making money, even when I was a coach full time and I had more time. So let's loop back. I want to loop this all back to breakups. It's your thoughts about your breakup that will determine how you feel and experience your breakup. And if the world is 50-50, meaning you'll experience 50% negative emotions and 50% positive emotions in your breakup, you'll experience that 50-50 while being single, and you're going to experience the 50-50 while being in a relationship. What should we do? If that 50-50 is going to be consistent through the breakup, through being single, and being in a relationship, what do we do about that? And my question is, what if instead of trying to spend our time escaping the negative emotion by changing our circumstances, we started simply allowing it to be there and then putting our energy towards relishing in whatever experience we're in the moment, relishing in the beauty of where we are currently. Because where you are right now will not last forever. Just like my previous client, she spent 3 months working on feeling sad about where she was. Like, she was sad about where she was. She was sad that she was in her single life apartment. She was single in this beautiful apartment that she just moved into, but she was like sad about it and upset and devastated, all of the emotions that we experience while going through heartbreak. But the fascinating part is she went through very similar feelings when she was leaving that same place to live the life that she wanted so desperately before. It's just so mind-boggling, right? And the feeling sad isn't a problem, but what if we allowed that sadness and recognized that we get this experience for only a limited time? This experience that you're in right now is only for a limited time. And it doesn't mean we're not working to change where you are. Like, if you don't like your current circumstances, of course we want to change those and create your ideal life and your dream life and all of the things. But the first step to doing that is accepting where you're at in this moment. We don't get to be single forever. We don't get to experience the pain of heartbreak forever. We don't get to be in this relationship forever. Nothing lasts forever. The only constant is change. So what if we really got present and looked for and sought after the true beauty of this heartbreak? It doesn't mean we're mute of pain. It doesn't mean that there isn't pain, loss, devastation, sadness. But what if you knew you'd only get to experience that for a small moment in your entire life? How would you look at it? What would you think about that? What would you think about yourself in that very short experience? How might you treat that moment differently if you really believed that you only get to have this for a short period of time? And here's the thing. I know there's some of you who have been single for a while listening to the podcast, and you're like, okay, Dorothy, but I've been single for years and I'm over being single and I need to get out of this. And I can promise you that energy is not going to create what it is that you want. What if you are only going to be single for the next 4 weeks? You have no idea what's going to happen 4 weeks from now. You could run into the love of your life and then be in this amazing, beautiful relationship and marry that person, spend the rest of your life with that person, and you didn't know that the last 4 weeks of you being single were the last 4 weeks of you being single. Isn't that mind-blowing? No matter where you are in life right now, Braveheart, maybe you're in the midst of heartbreak. Maybe you're in the midst of the end of a 25-year marriage, or the end of even a situationship. Maybe you're single and you're ready to mingle, or maybe you're single and you're dreading to mingle. Whatever stage you're in your life right now, I want you to ask yourself, what is the beauty I'm missing out on in this moment by wishing I was in a different place of life? What is the beauty I'm missing out on in this moment by wishing I was already there? And I know when you're in it, this is a hard question to answer, so don't let your mind short circuit and not answer the question or avoid it and say, I don't know. Truly answer this question. Zoom out on your life. There was so much beauty in my breakup of 2016. I made my bachelorette pad, my favorite home to date, really. I found and explored myself in a way I never had. I made a home, a community, a family. I stood up for myself. I dared to dream, like really big dreams. I took risks I wouldn't have in that relationship that I was in. And I even think about this in terms of like beauty in my current situation of not having baby Marilyn, losing her at 13 weeks. And it's really hard, like at least my experience of being pregnant and then losing baby, there's like this wire in my brain that is like stuck on having a baby. I'm like, we were about to have a baby. We would be 6 months pregnant right now. So therefore, like, I want a baby right now. Like it's this weird wire that won't shut off. And so even in this situation, the beauty in that is that I know baby Marilyn was real and is real. She was here, like so real. She was physically in form. I saw her, I felt her, I loved her. And like that to me was such a gift. And the beauty in where I am right now, where I no longer have her physically with me, is that I'm noticing all the ways that I'm already a mom. Growing into those mom pieces even more. I have a 130-pound baby Great Dane who I get to mother. She's like literally a human. She's the size of a human. I have a home I get to decorate with the seasons. I get to mother myself right now. I get to start cooking in ways I wanted to for my children and my husband. I get the freedom and the space to begin these rituals now and start exploring those rituals from a place of, spaciousness. Not from a place of, oh my gosh, I have to do this because baby's coming soon, but from that place of like presence. And maybe that was a gift I didn't know I needed, but the universe did. So I'm curious, in your heartbreak or wherever it is that you're in your life, whatever place that is, what is the beauty you are missing out on in this moment by wishing you were in a different place? What is the beauty you are missing out on in this moment by wishing you were already at the place that you want to be? Because I really want you to think about cherishing this moment even when it's dark, even when it's heavy, even when we're in the bottom part of that 50%. There are some beautiful moments taking place that you may look back on and mourn at some point in your life. Again, when I think about baby Marilyn, I'm like, when I finally do have a child, I bet you money I'll look back. Maybe you moms out there can tell me, maybe you miss at times not having the child. Maybe you mourn some of those moments of yourself that had a different life experience. Not that you would change it by any means or don't want the child anymore, but you mourn pieces of that. I personally, there are times where I mourn the breakup version of myself from 2016. And at the time when I was in it, all I wanted to do was be where I am now. And it's just such a weird experience when we're thinking about it. So take a moment today and ask yourself, am I forgetting the 50-50 of life? Am I thinking that once I get there, once I get married, once I find that person, once I have babies, once I have that career, once I live in that place, I think that I'm going to feel good all of the time? Is that what I'm thinking? Am I forgetting about that 50-50? And what is the beauty I'm overlooking in this present moment by wishing I was in a different place? All right, my beautiful brave hearts. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.